Hello people, and welcome to the History of, where today we're talking about one of the most popular racing series in America, seeing its legal origins dating back to Prohibition, and the changes it's gone through to become more popular than even F1. And with this one, we won't just be going in circles. Imagine you're back in 1920. Alcohol had just been made illegal across the US, but there's still an incredibly high demand for it. So you decide to start making your own. However, you run into issues when you go to sell it, and the cops are after you. The only thing you can do is run from them. Over time, you start to modify your vehicle by adding more power and removing the seats and floorboards so you can transport more alcohol. And you wouldn't be alone in doing this. Many others across the southern US would also make alcohol and transport it in modified cars. Eventually, you and these other moonshiners would get together and start racing your modified cars around dirt tracks with no legal issues. This was the very beginning of NASCAR, and it would grow to be one of America's favorite racing series, with almost anybody recognizing the names of some of its races, such as the Daytona 500. The illegal moonshine running would continue in a less capacity after the end of Prohibition, trying to evade taxes on the business. The races, though, would continue to grow in popularity, and after one of the very first stock car races in Daytona, a mechanic who placed fifth by the name of William Franz determined to create an organization to set up these races, and began talking with other racers and some influential promoters in December of 1947. And less than 3 months later, the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, aka NASCAR, was formed, and the first official NASCAR race was held on February 15, 1948 in Daytona, Florida. The winner, in a modified Ford, was a man by the name of Red Byron. June 19th of the following year marked the first race of the NASCAR Strictly Stock Series, or what is known as the NASCAR Cup Series today, and was held at the Charlotte Fairgrounds Speedway. The winner was Jim Roper. This championship would come to an end a little under 5 months later, with Red Byron being the winner again. Races would continue through the remainder of the 40s and 50s, but it would be about another 10 years until the Daytona International Speedway would host the very first Daytona 500, a race that nearly anybody can recognize, and the winner would be Lee Patty by a mere 2 feet. The first Daytona 500 was attended by more than 41,000 people. Today, the race brings in approximately 250,000 people, with TV broadcasting bringing in 6 million more viewers annually. Since then, NASCAR would continue to grow, bringing in more and more viewers. And now that we know about NASCAR's history, let's take a look at one of the most influential drivers in the history of NASCAR. Richard Petty, also known as the King, competed in NASCAR races from 1958 until 1992, most notably racing in his iconic Plymouth. He set many records, being the first to win the Cup Series championship not 8, not 9, but 7 times. Over the course of his career, he won a record 200 races, including 7 Daytona 500s and a record 27 wins in one season. He was inducted into the Motorsport Hall of Fame of America in 1989, the International Motorsports Hall of Fame in 1997, and the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2010. He has been honored after his racing career with documentaries based on him, and even had a character based off him and his famous car in the Cars series, where he voiced the King. And that is NASCAR, how it rose from illegal origins, went on to be one of the most famous racing series in the US, and we have also seen one of the most famous racers in the history of NASCAR. But for now, that's the history, and I'll see you next time.